All aboard your tech news, games, and deals caboose. We have Bright Memory, an early access game, which looks pretty good and highly rated. And we'll also have some Verizon Netflix gaming service coming soon, maybe. So let's jump into Bright Memory. Some of this will have to blur because there's quite a bit of blood, but it's an action style game. It's an FPS. There's some shooting. There's some slashing. There's a lot of different combos you can do, like combo stuff together and do different fighting. And here's where we're going to start blurring some of the stuff because there's a little bit of blood, I'd have to say. And you can do different slash combos. There's 11 hit combos. There's things where you can knock people up into the air and force hold them there and continue to shoot them and continue to do combos. And there's a lot of different monsters. And again, this is just a lot of blood and some gore, so don't want to scare the children. But we also have the actual Steam page, which is out, and we can check that out. And this is developed by an independent game developer, so I believe they were saying it's just one person, so he's voicing the male and female characters. Just kidding about that. But so it's in early access. It's going to be just the first episode, which is only going to be an hour of gameplay, but it's already overwhelmingly positive. There's a little bit of replayability to it, and just the action in it is pretty good. And it is priced at $7. This is just episode 1, and the price will go up for full release, but people who buy now will obviously get a little bit of a deal. And then some plans for the other 2 episodes. I'm assuming it's 2 more episodes because there's going to be 2 more hours of gameplay roughly. So they're adding more guns. They're going to add a kill the enemy's execution interaction, more skills, forward sliding, another 2 hours of gameplay again, some photo mode and achievements and stuff, so you can replay it even more. And so $7 for the first episode, and all the reviews so far seem pretty highly rated for this game. A lot of combo-y stuff and some really good action, and there's a little bit of story to it too. So cool there for Bright Memory. We also have another game. This is Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. This is some gameplay footage they show off, and we get some cool grappling stuff, and they talk about it. This is from Game Informer, and they're going to be doing more stuff over the month, showing off some actual gameplay, more gameplay. So this first one is Harada's Estates, and there's some actual action combat, and there's some grappling, some jumping around, and we get some blood going on again, and just that is, I think someone's head just flew. I can't really tell, but it gets pretty bloody, some of the kill emotes and stuff. And then they talk about some secret, little kind of secrety. There's some doors that actually rotate, and you can get through there and find cool stuff, they say. And there he's going through a hidden kind of hidden door, but cool little thing there from Sekiro, and that is coming March 22nd. And we have some Ashes of Creation next. This is a preview for the Siege Castle War. It's a 200 player battle. This is the MMO, and this is again 100 people versus 100 people, and they show some trebuchets, they show some not catapults, some like ballista arrow firing stuff, some rams, and they show pretty nice scenery and good design, I would have to say. And then here's some of the castle this is a destructible castle. So we got a couple months to years to wait for this. Right now they're doing a beta for the Battle Royale testing mode, and that ends tomorrow. They're just doing another beta test for that. So they're not beta testing the Siege Castle mode, that's just a preview they're showing. So get hyped for an MMO. We also have a Resident Evil 2. This is the 30-minute demo, and we have people finishing it in 3 minutes. So not too much gameplay here. There's some zombies and some little spoiler stuff if you haven't used your 30 minutes yet. And they end it at 3 minutes and 15 seconds. They get a little time card. And the standard game mode. There might be non-standard modes, but pretty quick. You can beat this game in, but you can obviously explore and actually use your whole 30 minutes, or just play it 10 times really fast, I guess. So we also have Epic Games matching the Steam refund policy, basically. So games will be on the Epic Game Store will be refundable with under 2 hours of play, and for unlimited refunds within 14 days of purchase. So at day 15, you won't be able to refund. There's going to be a self-service, but for now it's just player support. You'll have to open up a ticket for that. So Epic games are refundable. And then we have this week at Bungie. They had the Final Forge kind of thing going on a couple days ago, and the timer ran out for it. No one was able to solve the puzzle. So puzzles are fun, but not when they gate content you were expecting to play. So they decided to open it up to annual pass owners. People can still solve the puzzle, it looked like, but the Final Forge is open, and that was yesterday they opened it up. So number one, the developers are either too good or they're not good enough at giving any hints. Maybe they didn't even leave a hint. We're not sure yet. Or two, players, either there aren't that many players playing, or the players are just not very smart. Just kidding, Destiny players. And then we just have the pay to win aspect. So basically you can just pay to win Destiny to get through content now. So interesting little 3 points I added to this story. We actually have some tech news to go over now. And this is from Verizon is quietly testing its own Netflix style cloud gaming service. So they're going to be having 5G sometime this year, probably more into 2020. And they think gaming is going to go hand in hand with 5G and killing people with radio waves. But anyways, they're doing alpha testing. And the gaming service is running on the NVIDIA Shield with potentially Android phones coming later. So cool stuff there. And what games can you play, you ask? Well, you can play Anthem, God of War, PlayStation exclusive, Far Cry, Red Dead Redemption 2, no port yet. But some of these are just placeholders they actually mentioned. So this is the list. This some emails got passed over to The Verge, so this is where this is coming from. So right now, players are obviously complaining about lag. That's probably any new streaming service or just any game streaming service. There's bound to be something coming up with that. And Verizon did already kind of respond to that in emails before probably, and they were talking about just working on the engine and its parts. This is obviously alpha testing, so the engine is probably the most important thing to work on for a game streaming service. So eventually we'll have game streaming from Verizon. We'll see if it actually can compete with NVIDIA's stuff and Google's stream platforms, and if game streaming even takes off, if 5G is even good enough. And next up we have AMD No Chiplet APU variant. So this is the Matisse. This is the Ryzen 3000 chip they showed on the AMD presentation, and Dr. Lisa Su held it up, and there were some extra space people wanted to point out, that you could add extra CPU chiplets, and people were probably hoping for an APU, so like an inexpensive thing with graphics and CPU all together in one little tiny bundle, and you could put it on, I'd fit in a phone almost, but not really. And so there's going to be, AMD did state that there will be no version of the current Matisse for chiplet layout. So there's going to be no APU is what they're saying basically. They also went on to mention a little bit, previously they did mention that other people were expecting to put another chiplets on there. So we are still expecting another CPU chiplet. So we are still expecting 16 cores. I'm not sure why this couldn't be shifted down and then put one of these diagonally. I'm not sure why anyone hasn't mentioned putting 3, so 24 cores. 24 cores. I haven't seen that in any comment section, but we also have some TDP mentions of the Ryzen. It's going to be the Ryzen 3000. The Matisse is basically going to have the same power stuff as the 2000 series processor. So expecting E variance of 35 watt TDP, so pretty low there, lowish. So cool stuff from AMD. And we have a deal for today, 11-11 Memories Retold. This is a little bit of a story style game, but it's good reviews for how many there are. And this is 40% off, 18 bucks versus 30. You do only have 20 hours to get this, so if you aren't watching live or you watch this tomorrow, you won't be able to get this deal. So it is a World War I style game, 1916, a photographer leaves Canada to join the Western Front in Europe. And this is also voiced by Frodo Baggins. So cool little tidbit there. Played 10 seconds of his voice. And it's a little bit of a paintery style feel. And then there's the photographer, and then there's a German tactician. And both stories are told in this little quick game. So that's your deal for today. And we have a couple comments saying, not enough blood. I'm sorry about the blurring, but I don't know who's watching. They also have someone saying, can I put it on my toaster? That's either AMD or game streaming. I'm assuming AMD. It's gonna get warm. You could make toast with it if it was not in a computer, I guess. And I think that does it. Smiley, crying face. And we'll have another episode tomorrow at 3 p.m. Pacific with some more game news. Now that CES is over, we can get back into splitting game and tech news and flipping that around. So we will be signing off. Pew, 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 pew.